We saw you on the screen after many, many years, Sushmita.
Can you believe?
I mean, I remember like the moment, I think your opening scene in Aarya, that is 2020, is when you are, I think, tangled. And
Yes.
you're in the rope and
The
doing gymnastics, right?
yes,
And I'm like,
gymnastic rings.
oh man, we haven't seen her in very long. Then of course your husband shows up on the screen. That's Chandrachur Singh, who we
Yes.
hadn't seen in a while as well.
But, yes.
To a point where I thought that was Shashi Tharoor. I said, did they get Shashi Tharoor to play this part? Because it looked
I
quite
know,
similar.
I saw the memes that followed after, but yeah, it was really my world upside down. I called up the head of Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hotstar and the whole gang at that point. I will never forget how amazing that experience was, Mayank, because I was jobless. I was without any experience in the last 8 years, which is a long span of time in a limited...
And the world had changed.
The world had changed dramatically.
Right.
OTT had showed up. Yeah. And I was watching OTT. I was loving the content on it. And I was still watching Hindi films, and I was like, well, women still don't have anything to do in it. Off and on, there is still a woman-centric, that it is still gender biased to the extent that it is distributor kitna dega, कितने होर्डिंग्स लगेंगे, मार्केटिंग का क्या बजट होगा, कि नहीं इतने में नहीं बन सकती. You're still thinking about that. And then I'm seeing content driven material, and so I was like, this is interesting. So I made the call myself, and I said, my name is Sushmita Sen, I'm an actor, used to be one anyway, and I'd like to come back to work, and I would need help because I haven't worked for 8 years.
That's quite humbling, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but I knew that I wanted to do it this way, no other way. Nobody makes those calls. I needed to make that call because I wanted them to know I'm hungry. I want to do this. And so, can I have a meeting, and I want to see what my scope is. Surprisingly, all 3 platforms, the highest of the orders, came and had this meeting. And I discussed with them what I wanted, and their jaw hit the floor. And they were, okay. I said, oh, I want workshops, I want to learn, I want to unlearn, and I want to headline a show. I want responsibility. I don't want to just be a character. I need a conflict so powerful that it's author-backed. So they're all looking at me like, gotta give it to her. Like, she's been out of a job. She comes back and she says, I want this. Kind of, I had learnt by then that, you know, you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. You just don't get it because maybe it's not the right time, maybe because someone said, mat mango, ye koi time nahi hai, pehle kuch kar lo, uske baad mangna. I said, no, I'll come back and I'll give it everything, but this is what I want. I was very pleasantly surprised.
With what you got? I mean, there's
Aarya, of course. Aarya came last, actually.
Okay.
What
Did
they
Taali
brought...
come before?
No, Taali came much later.
Right.
I got some BAFTA-winning scripts that came to me from another platform. There's a lot of to and fro, and something did not marry, because the thing that my first innings had taught me is don't get carried away when you look at a script and say, kya film hai? Kya banegi? Kya dialogue hai? Kitna emotional conflict hai? Don't get into that, because jo words mein hai, unko screen pe lane ke liye, who's the team? Focus on the team. This time I did. And finally, I will remember this call from Shogoto. He was heading Hotstar at that point.
Who's a Sony Live now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right.
And so he called me and he said, okay, now I think I know what you want, because we had already discussed another show and I turned it down. And then he said, try and turn me down this time. That was the confidence. And I was like, okay, where, with who? I'm not telling you anything. Let me surprise you. 4 o'clock today, can we make it happen? I go, okay. 4 o'clock, I show up at BKC at this meeting point, and I walk in and I'm introduced to Ram Madhvani. And I'm just like, hi.
Have you seen his works?
Of course I had seen his work, and I'd been watching everyone's work at that point. And so I walked in and I go, my God, hi. And I met Amita, hi, you're making this? What are you making? And he says, it's like a female Michael Corleone of Godfather. I literally took a seat, took 5 minutes, and said, I'm doing it. My lawyer, who had come with me for the meeting, she's nail marks on my thighs. Huh? Like, don't do that.
Don't commit so quickly.
Yeah, we haven't, like, no terms are confirmed, nothing. Don't say yes in 5 minutes. I was so excited. I knew on a cellular level, this is what I was waiting for. This is it. Mr. Madhvani to this day jokes about it. He said, I told Amita, she's either a fantastic actress or she's going to go back out and say, her manager will call and say, no, actually, she thought it through. She doesn't really want to do it. Aisa kuch hoga. But no, I knew. And I told Priyanka, I said, my lawyer, I said, I'm doing this. Now you figure the rest out. Right. This I'm doing. And that was it. I went back to it like a student. I sat for 14 hours every day for 21 days, that magical number of workshops. I was like this furniture. सारे actors आ रहे हैं, अपनी lines कर रहे हैं मेरे साथ, चले जा रहे हैं, मैं वही हूँ. I became like this person who became the nuclei of this process. Right. And from there started the process of unlearning and starting to learn again and loving every moment of it, waking up every morning with excitement like a newbie, like I have this job to do.
Would it be the same for Taali that, if I'm not mistaken, you spent 6 months prepping for that role? I mean, terrific performance, I have to say.
Thank you, Maya.
I mean, this was a very tough role, I'm pretty sure,
it is.
for you. And I mean, the only criticism that you would have probably got, but that's at a very macro level, is could someone from that gender play that role?
Yeah, which is a very fair question. Right. It's a very fair question. And honestly, we knew when we were making Taali that there will be a big lashing out on many levels. But I went with the conviction that I was not okay with Taali till I heard Gauri Sawant wants me.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, so that's what it took us a while, and that's when my meeting with her happened. Once she said, मैंने तो साफ बोला था जाके बोलो उनको. Let her say no. But I want you to ask her. Because obviously the rest of the crew were like, how can I go to her and ask her to play this? You know.
Miss Universe, for God's sake.
Exactly. So they have all these preconceived notions. And if you had asked me, would you do a Taali? It never even crossed my mind. Because I would never imagine playing this role. Nobody would think of me. And she did. And she said, no, I want you to go and ask her. Let her say no. That's when I knew that now whatever the backlash, it is her story. She wants me to portray her. My conviction is locked. Now how do I get it right? So I spent time with her. She's a very open and a very vivacious person. And someone who is spitfire strong, you know.
And shows on screen.
Yeah,
I mean, that's who you are on.
Yeah, in fact, I might have underplayed her.
Right.
If you see her in real life, she's amazing. So that's when the work started. And yeah, it was challenging, but it was also very important to me that when Gauri Sawant watches it, she says, it's justified. What I went through, because I know for a fact Gauri's story will not be told again. I cannot get this wrong. Right. After she asked for me. Marble Chi Murti, she calls me, and that is like the funniest Marathi explanation I've had describing me. But she said that I want you to play me because I want my life to be beautiful. Because everything about it has been spelled out to be ugly for so long. And I was like, dude, when they started putting the beard and the mustache came in, the sideburns came in, my face started to transform. I cannot tell you, Mayanka, for the first time in my life, I realized that I was beautiful. That I could do that.
Especially the younger part when you are
Ganesh.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean that's such a beautiful transformation.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.